The MGM Must series From is one of the most compelling and terrifying mysteries on television. It presents a puzzle box that feels both deeply personal to its characters and terrifyingly cosmic in its scale. If you are watching the show and trying to connect the dots, you are not alone. The story gives us clues, but it makes us work for the answers. To truly understand what is going on, we have to break the show down into three main areas. First, we need to look at the physical reality of the town and what is actually happening there. Second, we must examine the people trapped inside to understand why these specific individuals were chosen. Finally, we will put all the pieces together to answer the biggest question of all: what is the true nature of this place, and how does it all make sense? Here is a deep dive into the nightmare, the victims, and the ultimate truth behind From. Part 1. The Trap. What is happening in the town? To understand this mystery, we first have to look at the rules of the world. The premise of the show always starts the same way for everyone who arrives. A person, a family, or a group of people are driving down a road in America. Suddenly, their path is blocked by a massive fallen tree. Beside the tree, a murder of black crows takes flight. Forced to turn around and find a detour, the drivers take a different road that leads them directly into a small, run-down, nameless town. When they try to drive through the town and out the other side, they find themselves looping right back onto the town's main street. No matter how far or how fast they drive, the road always brings them back. They are trapped in a physical loop. But the geography is only the beginning of the nightmare. The real terror begins when the sun goes down. When night falls, creatures emerge from the dark forest that surrounds the town. These are not mindless zombies or giant beasts. They look entirely human. In fact, they look like friendly, well-dressed people from the 1950s. Milkmen, mechanics, cheerleaders, and grandmothers. They do not run, they walk slowly, and they always have a wide, fixed, unnatural smile on their faces. If you are caught outside, or if you let one of these creatures into your house, they will rip you apart in the most brutal ways imaginable. The only way to survive the night is to hide inside a closed structure that has a specific stone talisman hanging near the door. These talismans, discovered by the town's sheriff, Boyd Stevens, act as a magical barrier that the monsters cannot cross. However, the monsters are incredibly manipulative. They tap on the windows, whisper your name, and try to trick you into opening the door or window just a crack. Beyond the monsters, the town itself defies all known laws of science and nature. The electricity in the houses works, but when the characters tear open the walls to trace the wiring, they find that the wires do not contain any metal. Furthermore, the wires just drop deep into the earth, connecting to absolutely nothing. There is a motel sign, but no actual motel. There are faraway trees in the forest. If you step inside the hollow trunk of one of these trees, you are instantly teleported to a random location somewhere else in the area. Recently, the environment has started fighting back against the people. When the townspeople tried to build a radio tower to call for help, a sudden violent storm rolled in specifically to destroy it. When they started asking too many questions, a brutal winter suddenly arrived, threatening to freeze them to death. Underneath the town, a network of cave tunnels exists where the monsters sleep during the day. Deep in the woods, there are trees with glass bottles hanging from their branches, each containing a piece of paper with a date on it. There are visions of ghoulish, tortured children trapped in a dark place, chanting strange words. There is a mysterious boy in white who seems to guide certain people, but his motives are completely unclear. In short, what is happening in the town is that reality has been suspended. The people are locked in a supernatural terrarium. It is a place that operates on dream logic, nightmare rules, and dark magic. It reacts to what the people do, punishing them for trying to escape and shifting the rules just when they think they have figured things out. Part 2. The targets. Why are these specific people selected? If the town is a trap, the next logical question is, why did it catch these specific people? Out of all the millions of people driving on roads across America, why did the Matthews family, Boyd Stevens, Jade, and all the others see the fallen tree? At first glance, the people in the town have nothing in common. They come from all different states, different backgrounds, and different tax brackets. Jade is a wealthy software developer. Boyd is a retired military veteran. Christy is a medical student. The Matthews family is a regular suburban household. However, if you look closely at their lives right before they saw the fallen tree, a clear pattern emerges. Every single person was at a major crossroads in their life, dealing with deep emotional trauma or undergoing a massive transition. They were all in some way broken or lost before they ever got physically lost. Let's look at the Matthews family. Jim and Tabitha are on a cross-country RV trip with their 2 children, but this isn't a happy family vacation. We quickly learn that they are on the verge of a divorce. They are drowning in grief because they recently lost their youngest child, Thomas, in a tragic accident at home. Their family unit is shattered, and they are emotionally adrift. Boyd Stevens had recently retired from the military and was struggling to figure out his purpose in life. He bought a boat and wanted to sail away with his wife, Abby, but Abby was secretly suffering from severe mental health decline. Christy, the doctor, was separated from her fiancé and feeling the immense pressure of her medical studies. Father Khatri, the priest, had suffered a crisis of faith and guilt after failing to protect a young boy in his parish back in the real world. The town does not select happy, grounded people who know exactly where they are going. It selects people who are vulnerable, grieving, and searching for meaning. This leads to a popular theory discussed by the character Jim. The town is a test. Jim believes they are in a psychological experiment designed to see how much pressure a human mind can take before it completely snaps. The town feeds on their hopes and crushes them with despair. But as the story progresses, especially into the third season, we learn that the selection process is much more supernatural than a simple psychology experiment. It has to do with history and reincarnation. We discover that some of the people currently trapped in the town are actually reincarnations of people who were trapped there decades or even centuries ago. For example, Tabitha Matthews and the arrogant genius Jade discover that their souls have been here before. In a past life, Tabitha was a woman named Miranda, who was the mother of Victor, the town's longest surviving resident. Jade is the reincarnation of a man named Christopher. In the past, Miranda had visions of the ghoulish children and realized they needed to be saved, but she failed. Christopher was driven mad by the symbols he saw and ultimately helped the monsters slaughter the town. Because they failed to resolve the curse of the town in their past lives, their spirits have been pulled back into the town in new bodies. They were selected because they have unfinished business. The town selects broken people because they are easier to manipulate, and it selects specific souls because they are trapped in a cosmic cycle of failure. They are brought back time and time again to either save the town or be consumed by it. Part 3. The truth. What is the answer to the mystery? So, how do we combine the terrifying monsters, the strange physics, the broken people, and the reincarnated souls into one logical answer? What is actually going on? Using sound logic and piecing together the clues the show has given us, the most complete answer to the mystery of From is this. The town is a supernatural liminal space created by an ancient dark bargain, and the characters are trapped in a cycle meant to break a curse. Let's break that down into simple terms. A liminal space is a place between places. It is a waiting room between life and death, or a pocket dimension that exists outside of normal reality. That is why the electricity wires don't go anywhere, why the seasons change instantly, and why driving away just loops you back. The town is not a real physical place on a map, it is a pocket universe created by a dark entity. But why was this pocket universe created? The answer lies in the monsters and the ghoulish children. The lore of the show heavily hints at dark fairy tales and folklore, specifically legends like changelings and the Anko, a personification of death. Long ago, before the town was a modern nightmare, a group of original settlers lived in this area. They were faced with a terrible threat, perhaps starvation, disease, or an evil spirit. To survive, they made a deal with a dark entity. The entity promised them that they would live forever, but to gain this immortality, they had to pay the ultimate price. They had to sacrifice their own children. The original adults accepted the deal. They sacrificed their children to the entity. As a result, those adults became the monsters we see today. That is why the monsters look like regular people from past decades and why they walk slowly with those terrible frozen smiles. They are immortal, but they lost their humanity. They are cursed to live forever as twisted, jealous shells of humans, killing anyone who reminds them of the life they gave up. The children who were sacrificed did not just disappear. Their souls were trapped in the forest. They became the ghostly, frail children that characters like Tabitha and Jade keep seeing in their visions. The children are crying out for help. They are the ones trapped in the dark tower, chanting Ankhui. This is the core of the entire mystery. The town is a cursed loop built on the blood of those sacrificed children. This explains why the town keeps pulling new people in from the real world. The dark entity that controls the town feeds on the fear, pain, and grief of the new arrivals. It specifically targets broken people because their negative emotions are exactly what the entity needs to sustain its power. However, the trapped children are fighting back. The spirits of the children are reaching out into the real world, using the crows and the fallen trees to pull in people who might be strong enough to save them. They are pulling in the reincarnated souls of the people who tried to help them in the past. Tabitha, Jade, and others are brought back to the town by the children's magic so they can finally finish the job they started lifetimes ago. The boy in white is likely a manifestation of the remaining innocence of the children, or perhaps a rival entity trying to guide the humans to break the curse. He pushes Tabitha out of the lighthouse at the end of season 2 not to kill her, but to push her back into the real world so she can find answers and break the cycle from the outside. Every bizarre element in the town serves this central story. The talismans are ancient protective runes left behind by someone who previously fought the entity. The faraway trees are a transport network created by the children's magic, functioning like the imagination of a child to move things around. The town is punishing the residents with storms in winter because the entity is getting angry that the humans are finally getting close to the truth. The final conclusion, the people in the town of From are not dead. They are not in a government simulation. They are caught in the middle of an ancient supernatural war. On one side is a dark entity and its immortal, smiling monsters who want to keep the town as a slaughterhouse, feeding on the grief of broken travelers. On the other side are the souls of the sacrificed children, trying to guide a group of reincarnated heroes to finally break the curse. The only way out of the town is not to find the right road. The only way out is to solve the mystery of the past, free the souls of the sacrificed children, and destroy the dark entity once and for all. Until they do that, the tree will keep falling, the crows will keep flying, and the monsters will keep smiling in the dark.